Hey guys, this is Greg from Crush Pools here. We get a lot of questions about pool cleanings, how we do weekly maintenance, how do I take care of my pool. So today we've decided to make a little video to show how we do our weekly cleanings here at Crush Pools. Hope you guys enjoy. As you can see, we've got a pretty windy day out here today. There's a lot of debris that's fallen into the pool. So we're gonna get this cleaned up for our customers here. One of the first things I noticed is the water level is a little bit low, so we're gonna get the hose in and fill it up. Ideally, you want the water to be just probably around that second screw there, so just about probably like an inch higher. The water level is fine as is now, but it's always good just to be a little bit on the higher side. All right guys, so everyone's pool system's different. Here we've got a variable speed pump, standard sand filter, salt cell, and Hayward heater here. Your system may look a little different than this one, but they all ideally work about the same, right? The pump is sucking water up into the pump, going into the filter to get cleaned, circulating through the sand in the filter, going through the heater to get warmed up, and to the salt cell to get sanitized, and then back to the pool. Okay guys, so the first thing that I always check before I start cleaning a pool is to see if the heater's on or off. You always want the heater off when you're cleaning a pool. The reason why you turn it off is because at some point when you plug in your vacuum, the water is gonna stop going into the pump. For this heater to work, you need water flowing through it at all times. There's a flow sensor in there. So before I vacuum, if you have a variable speed pump, I always like putting it on a higher setting. That just helps improve the suction. So here I'm just gonna put it on the speed 4. I'll press speed 4 twice. That will let it run for an hour on a higher speed before going back to its normal program. Now that the pump's running at a higher speed, we're ready to start cleaning the pool. So you're gonna need a few things in order to take care of the pool over the summer. So the first thing you're gonna need is a nice vacuum hose. The thing that you should note is that there's gonna be a white end and a blue end. The white end doesn't spin and it goes into the skimmer. The blue end spins and it goes on the end where the vacuum head goes. You're also gonna need a net to do the skimming. So we got a nice net here. Nice brush to brush the stairs and brush the scum line. Two different types of vacuum heads here, okay? So this one with a brush, this is for vinyl pools. This one with the wheels, this is for concrete pools. As we have a vinyl pool here, we're gonna be using this vacuum today. The thing that I always do is I skim the pool. I like to get the debris off the top so nothing sinks to the bottom after I vacuum. Now that we've finished skimming, we're ready to start vacuuming. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the skimmer basket. Now we're gonna set up the vacuum. So we're gonna take off the skimmer net, put on our vacuum here, and just clips in like this. Okay. But I always feed the end in that doesn't spin first, because that way when I get to the end I have the side that I want to put on to the vacuum here. Okay, so now that the vacuum's in the pool, we're gonna walk the hose out and we're gonna fill it with some water. So you always want to keep the air out. That's why I have my hand on top. We're gonna feed it right through the skimmer here. Right down into the skimmer hole here, and it's gonna catch like that. Plug our skimmer hose directly into the skimmer. This is a little bit of a tricky situation. If you have large debris in the pool, I'd recommend scooping the large debris out first. But if you're ever worried about clogging a line, you can always get a vacuum plate, and it sits on top of the skimmer like this, and you can plug your vacuum hose in here versus directly into the skimmer. The reason I put it into the skimmer is because there's not a lot of big debris in the pool, and you get better suction plugging it directly into the skimmer line. So now that we've plugged our vacuum hose into the skimmer, not able to vacuum right away, you want to let the pump have a chance to re-prime. And usually a sign that the pump's now primed up and working properly is when you see the jets going. Now that we can see that the jets are going, we're ready to start vacuuming. Now that the pool is clean, we're gonna take our vacuum out. What I like to do is I usually take the vacuum head out first. It makes it easier to pull out the hose afterwards. Alright guys, so now we're ready to test the water. So we have our test strips here. We're testing for chlorine, alkalinity, pH, hardness, and stabilizer. If you're interested in learning more about how a water test works, we actually have a blog. We'll have a link in the video here that's under there as well. You can see from the strips here, it looks like the stabilizer level is a little bit low, as well as the hardness. Usually you only have to worry about hardness if you have a saltwater or a concrete pool. So because this one's a saltwater pool, we will add some LCM in the pool today. As far as the stabilizer is concerned, we're gonna probably add some to the skimmer as well. That just helps hold chlorine in the water for when you get those hot days. Alright, so now that we finished vacuuming the pool, we're gonna empty the pump basket here. We're also gonna backwash the filter. A good way to tell if your filter needs backwashing is if the pressure is over 20. Once it's over 20, it's a sign that the filter needs to be backwashed. As well, you can see the sight glass here is dirty. That's a sign to get cleaned out. So as you guys can see, this customer here has a built-in backwash line that's going out to the back field here. You want to know where the water's going. You never want to flood a house, a backyard, or anything like that. So it's obviously very important to know where the water's going. Now that we've backwashed for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, we're ready to rinse. People ask a lot, how long should I backwash for? A good sign is to go to the end of where the water's coming out of. So it'll start coming out cloudy and it'll progressively get more clear. Once the water's clear coming out, that's when you know filter's been cleaned out and you're ready to rinse. So now we're gonna be rinsing, and usually you wanna rinse for about 30 seconds. The reason you wanna rinse the filter is if you were to go straight from backwash into filter mode afterwards, lots of times you'll get small debris getting shot back into the pool, which is what you don't want after you've just cleaned it. So rinsing it for 30 seconds helps give it that extra little clean, so you know when you put it back into filter mode, it's gonna be all good. Let's move it back to filter mode. This pump is already programmed, it's on a specific schedule. So I've just reset it to the schedule now by pressing start. It's gonna prime for a minute and it's gonna run on the program that we've set it to. The chlorine was in a good range at this pool. You can see their salt still set to 80%. When we add the stabilizer, that's gonna help hold chlorine in the water. So we're hoping by adding the stabilizer, we can actually turn the salt down to 60. But for right now, we're gonna leave it as is. We're gonna turn the heater back on. When we started, we turned the heater off. It's important to not have the heater on when we vacuum. So now, we're ready just by pressing this button twice. Full mode, and we're good to go. Put the skimmer basket back in now that it's nice and clean. So now the pool is clean, we're good to go. We've got the water level up a little bit, closer to that second screw, which is where we want it, so that's good. Now this customer's got a nice clean pool to use over the weekend.